Yep, that's right, still at this. Well, you know what? This wins until I get more spirits, because this is turning out to be horrifying. I guess we're not going to do the wither skeletons today. Let's go do something more interesting. Hello everybody, I'm Arden. Welcome to another episode of Glacial Awakening, and today let's go make some candy, huh? Because that's one of our endgame goals. Because we need to make the fores'more QuadSmingot. And let me tell you, this is kind of a rabbit hole, although thankfully it's not too horrifying one, because we need to make more s'more double smingots, which requires making s'more smingots, which thankfully is just graham crackers, chocolate, and marshmallows. But you might think this is a bit easy sounding, and you are correct. Because just to make the milk chocolate, we need to ingot form it from molten milk chocolate, which has to be salt mixed from molten dark chocolate and milk, which has to be salt mixed from molten unsweetened chocolate and molten sugar, which also has to be salt mixed from chocolate liqueur and cocoa butter, which is melted down from ground cocoa nibs, which isn't even just the cocoa beans, because we need to roast those first into manufactory. Can you see how absurd this is getting? I'm getting flashbacks to Enigmatica 2 and doing all the chemical chains in Nuclearcraft, and it's just, whew, and that's just the chocolate. Because we also need to make the marshmallows, which is liquid marshmallow, which comes from salt mixing hydrated gelatin and molten sugar. And the hydrated gelatin is normal gelatin mixed with water, which thankfully this is just gelatin, which is made by melting down meat or fish, which thankfully we have plenty of, and I'm just going to mass reduce this. But wait, there's more, because we also have to make the graham crackers, which requires flour in a pressurizer. Thankfully that's where this ends, because we make flour pretty easily. This isn't even the easiest one, it's just the first one I clicked on. So thankfully that part's not too bad, but we need to make a ton of machines. So I guess we'll start from the beginning and go make the cocoa nibs. Thankfully this part's easy, it's just time consuming. And then over to here, and now we have the cocoa nibs. And the first thing we need is the melter to melt down the nibs. And I just carved out this hole right here and connected to the power for those machines over there. And we'll see if we have, I don't know, hopefully enough room to do this, although I do have the wall all the way up there. So let's slap this right down there and give it some power, and then just chuck the cocoa nibs in to be melted down. Which that gets us the chocolate liqueur, which we now need to mix with cocoa butter inside a salt mixer. And the cocoa butter requires the fluid extractor and another stack of the ground cocoa nibs to get cocoa solids, which we don't need this, I don't believe, and the cocoa butter from that. And yeah, the cocoa solids mostly just appear to be used as brown dye after this, which actually seems like a pretty sad case, since you think there would be something food related you could still do with this. But I guess we make cookies. Cookies are fine, I guess. Alright, and we'll just put the fluid extractor on top of that, and toss in some ground cocoa nibs. And of course this has upgrades, but we don't really need it to be fast because we have a whole lot of other machines to do yet. Because now we need to toss both of those into a salt mixer. Alright, so we need 3 salt mixers for this chain, so I'm just going to stack them all up right here in the center. And I don't have a jetpack in this pack, so this is actually kind of a problem. Yes, this is what I'm reduced to, a cobblestone pillar. Slap some power onto all of these, and then let's add a fluid conduit. Not there. And then let's add a fluid conduit here, and here, and here. And let's... Oh, that awkward moment you realize you've got the wrong fluid pipe and you can't actually filter this one. Alright, now that I've actually got the ender conduits made, here we go. And we'll set these to extract out on the, the red channel. And now we have the cocoa butter mixing with the chocolate liqueur into molten unsweetened chocolate, which now we need to combine with molten sugar, which is thankfully just another melter with sugar, which we can get from sugarcane. Alright, so let's plug in the melter, give it a fluid conduit. I've keyed the other one to black. We'll tell it to extract. We'll feed it some sugar, and it's all making it into the salt mixer, creating the sweetened chocolate. But now we need to combine it with milk, which means we need a source of milk. And I think I'm just going to grab our cow in the jar and use that. And yep, I guess I'm going to have to go all the way up here. And I guess we'll just toss it on top here for now. This might look pretty ugly. I might have to do something else with this later if it drives me nuts. But we'll extract that on white down into the salt mixer. And we'll pull the chocolate in as well, which makes the final step of the chocolate at least. Because now we'll have the molten milk chocolate, we just need to make an ingot former to press the bars. And I just realized as I was going to go put this down, I'm going to put all the production ones over here, that I'm going to have trouble getting back there pretty soon because I don't have a walkway behind this I was punching through from this side. What the heck? Does not require energy. That was not what I was expecting to see, especially after E2E where this uses 1 billion energy. But there we go, now we have our first bar of chocolate completed. That's 1/3 of the way through the recipes that we need to do. Well, probably a bit more since the other ones are a little less convoluted. The things I resort to get clean cabling in this place, because I did not think my base through. So for the marshmallow, we need to start with molten gelatin, which means you need to go toss a bunch of fish into the manufactory and then melt it, and then toss all that into the melter. All right, I think you know the drill by now. In goes the gelatin, and now we need the molten gelatin into a salt mixer. So we need to make another salt mixer because apparently I forgot to count the ones I needed for this, but we're also going to need a water supply, probably from Nuclearcraft, although do I still have one? Oh good, I do. That makes this easy, although it's slow, but that should be fine. Yep, I am just dangerously out of room on this now, but I guess we'll put it up here because I think the water supply will feed directly into it if I place it like that because it shouldn't go into the melter. Yep, going straight into the salt mixer, so that works out. And now we've got the molten gelatin feeding in with the water, and we have our first batch of hydrated gelatin, which just requires another salt mixer to mix it with molten sugar, which we're already producing, although we're going to have to round robin that if I can. I'm not even sure if I can, to create liquid marshmallow. Okay, good. These do have round robin, so we can swap between them. Okay, and in setting this one up, we're going to use a basic fluid filter this time to send in the sugar and the hydrated gelatin because we're reusing the sugar, so we need to use the existing channel. There is a small chance this might get polluted with the marshmallow at some point, but I'm just going to suck it up and not worry about it because the rate that this is burning through is not very quickly. But now we have our liquid marshmallow, and all we need to do now is make an ingot former to press that into the solid marshmallows. And there we go. We now have it producing them into the first couple marshmallows that we need, which leaves only one step left to go, because we still need to make the graham crackers in the pressurizer, but thankfully we only need a pressurizer, which looking back up the wall leaves us with one extra spot. So I got lucky and didn't count my machines, and we had just barely enough room for all of it right here. So I'm going to call that a win. All right, and that's the last one plugged in. And now we can toss the flour in and make us some graham crackers. And now all I have to do is wait for enough pieces to come off to actually put together all of the s'mores. I probably should have done the math to figure out how much of this I actually need, huh? So you know what? I think this actually requires a depressingly low number of these. 2, 3, 4. And from there we make the fores'more quadsmingot. 1, 2. And from there we do the fores'more QuadSmingot. And done. And there we go, finished with a fairly convoluted quest line. Thankfully, a lot of these other ones aren't too bad. There are a few bad ones coming up, but that was a lot of machine chassis, folks. That was a lot of scut work on my part, just to make one tasty little sandwich here. So I think I'm going to call it at this because this was actually a couple hours worth of work to get this all set up. If you found this episode interesting and entertaining, please consider a like or subscribe if you're new. As always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching and stay hungry.